Hi, my friend CA here, and this week's book pick is the picture book, The Owl and the Two Rabbits. So this book is published by Inhabit Media, and one of their focuses is to share Inuit stories and culture. This book is based on the author's creative take on a traditional Inuit story and cautionary tale. When I think of cautionary tales, I think of Peter and the Wolf, the Fox and the Crow. So great stories, like actual stories with sort of this underlying message, and that's kind of what you get from The Owl and the Two Rabbits. So the premise is two young rabbits want to go to play. They've been sort of warned by their parents to be mindful, it's during the day, not to make themselves too obvious because they become food for predators. And of course they approach it all cautionary, but when they're out and they're playing and nothing happens, they start to forget about the caution, taking caution to the watchful eye of a local owl who tries to catch them for food. And the two sisters, fearing for their lives, kind of escape his clutches and devise a plan to defeat the owl, which they do, but certainly come to realize that perhaps the caution that their parents had given them was based on fact. Sometimes feel kids believe parents say things about being mindful because parents just don't know what it's like to be a kid. Parents don't want to have fun, when sometimes there is some, fact or solid evidence behind it. But not all cautionary tales end in a positive light. This one certainly does. The rabbits avoid being caught and then take the lesson going forward. Some cautionary tales end in, the whole point is the person in the middle of the story discovers the hard way the lesson learned, and that usually ends in sort of tragedy. I like the story for a few reasons. One, that it is sort of based on a traditional Inuit story, and even if you or your children, like myself, aren't familiar with it, or perhaps you do have a child who is familiar with it, it is an updated, modern telling of it. I am a fan of some of the cautionary tales, as I said. They kind of have a longevity to them, and so I love the fact of sharing those with kids. The illustrations are bright and colorful. I think even the owl, who is the terrible predator in this case, is still, I could see, you have like they're so cute. It's a cute white owl. It's a cute fluffy owl. So it doesn't, again, have the owl being the terrible person in the cautionary, so everything is a little light. Once the rabbits had freed their feet, they ran as fast as they could, pulling the owl behind them as they went. As he struggled to right himself, the owl heard his wife yelling from a distance, "Let one go, we'll have the other." So that's this week's book pick, the picture book, The Owl and the Two Rabbits. I'll be sure to include a little more information on the book in the description below. On Wednesdays, you can find me here talking about books for kids with a little bit of geek twist. If you like this content, like to see more content like it, be sure to give it a little thumbs up. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified as more content like this is published. And until next time, one to beam out.